Hello, my name is Zhatelier, welcome back for another bit of Shadow Empire. In previous episode we did manage to clear out a decent bit of land over there. We did also capture a city of Celeste over here, which is quite a small city admittedly. It doesn't really have anything in there right now, but we're slowly fixing it. I mean, we just kind of conquered it last round, so we're still in the same round as the end of last round. Well, I did realize that we did not actually really do all the fighting that we probably could have done at the end of there, but I suppose also that might be best to save up some of the... Well, I suppose we got the infiltration troops in here. So these two, if we were to attack, maybe send in a bit of tanks to assist. Could probably send the artillery as well. Let's give it a try. A bit of infantry loss, but also inflicting quite a bit of casualties on them, actually. There we go. The tanks got the most of the kills. We lost a bit of infantry, but that's about it. The artillery did get a few hits at least, so that's good. So now we can move our tanks forward. We could potentially try to attack this stack now. I might move in a bit of infantry to assist there. I'm going to get the replacement troops set up already, so that's not something we need to worry about later. We got the flak guns in place. We could move the artillery closer or along here as well. We'll try and attack with the infantry through the mountains in here. I mean, they've got low mountains. That does mean they've got a bit of penalties for there, but they also got infantry in there that is fairly well dug in. So I think that would be a bit too risky right now, although we do have the metalheads that we could send in there. You know what? Let's give it a try. Metalheads and the infantry stacks from there. We'll probably take a bit of casualties in this. And when I say a bit, I mean a lot of casualties, but if we can push them back... Well, we did push them back. We did lose a lot of infantry, though. There's about 700 infantry that... Well, no, actually, 700 infantry that we lost. But at the same time, they lost 500. And they lost 2 specialists. We didn't lose any specialists, at least. Nor did we lose any tanks. Which means that we could potentially just attack with the tanks further in here. Okay, well, we didn't do quite as much damage. We did destroy one of the light armor battalions there. That's good. We can move this one forward. We might want to move in a bit more infantry in here. Maybe some of these can move along the south. We do have a bit more all-rounders that could potentially go ahead and start encircling further in here. Maybe we'll move it to the crossroad first, see what the situation is going to be. And the flak guns, I mean, they can't move too much further. We do have a bit more infantry over here that could actually get in here. So this infantry is now going to be... It's actually low on supplies already. We don't know how bad... I mean, we know that it's 0, but we don't know, like, if it's got any supplies in remaining or not. It's just how much it was delivered, and that is basically nothing. We've got RPGs in here. You know what? We could try attack with the tanks in here still. Let's give it a try. This is probably going to be a bit risky. Although, we're destroying quite a few of the enemy tanks at least. Don't think we'll be able to push them back entirely. Well, actually, we did push them back. We lost 100 RPGs, and we destroyed 60 tanks. I think that's a decent trade. So now I'm just going to go through the replacements again and get some more. So admittedly, these battles were a little bit expensive on the manpower side of things, but at the same time, we're keeping the enemy on the move so they can't dig in. Oh, and now... Oh, hold on a minute. Who's this? Oh, they got a rebellion over there, I think. Now, I haven't seen any roads in here yet, but we do know that Spitsbergen is over here. Is this the capital by chance? No, it's a village. So I guess the capital is further east, probably over here. That would make sense at least. They do have a lot of airfields in there. I'm guessing they've got a... There's actually Airbase 1 only. There's a lot of roads going through, that's for sure. Which is not necessarily making it very smart things for there. I'm just going to remove a little bit of that road. Any other roads that we need to remove? I mean, I suppose we could reduce this one. I'm going to keep a little bit of road going up to the mountain at least. But don't necessarily need to go into the mountains all that much. I think with that, we are ready to go to the next round. I think we had all the other battles already done previous episode. But soon enough, we'll be reaching like 2 sets of mountains that we can defend. One in the west against the Monish Republic, and one in the east against Oceania. So that should give us a bit of breathing room. Oh, there we go. We destroyed some of the artillery with counter battery fire. The little 10 guns. Wait, we could oh, right, yeah, there's the artillery. Fuel deposit discovered in Kazoo, so we're discovering a lot of new stuff in the east, basically. Alright, Crisis of Passion again. And we did not get the brokerage point production going up enough. Oh, there we go, Manpower 2. We got a tripod in there. Security tactics. We believe that policing can be more effective if we study and evaluate better past operations done by security forces. Alright then. So we've got the supplies in here at least a little bit. Let's have a look at the decisions first though. No changes needed there. We got the design target right, so what do we want to upgrade next, I guess? We haven't really unlocked anything new for the infantry types. I think we've got the manpad there. I suppose the jetpack, we really haven't used them yet. And the anti-tank guns, I mean, what we have is already pretty decent. We could maybe make it a bit higher caliber, which might make a bit more damage, but at the same time it does make it a lot heavier, which I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be a good goal to go for. Oh, actually, the APCs. We've got the Troop Carrier 3. Can we get a laser... Oh, yeah, we could get a tribal assault laser rifle. There'd be a massive increase in the firepower. We could probably keep it fairly light. I mean, maybe we'll go for the 50mm polymer plating now, with the heavy diesel engine. I don't know if it's going to be quite good enough. Oh, and now with the customization points, I'm going to use those to... Where's the automated garrison? It's probably somewhere over here. Yeah, automated garrison brigade. We'll customize that. We'll add in the automated turret as well. So we had 20 flak guns. We have 500, or well, I don't know. It should be 500 strength at least with the automated machine guns. So we put in 30 automated turrets as well. So that should be a total of. Oh right, and I suppose we'll rename this. Call it the automated garrison 2. If we have a look at that formation real quick. So yeah, now it is 1,000 total. So that should be good. At least in the second speaking, it should be 1,000. Right, so we've got a minor worker striking into Zhate. That's not too bad though. I could use a military force though. Let's see. We killed 200 workers. Not the end of the world. Expansion quarrels at Oceania. I could increase relations with them again. On the other hand, I could increase relations with our leaders. I think that's going to be worth more right now. So, they pulled back a lot of their troops. Let's go ahead and move in these two. And destroy the tanks. We'll just keep on pushing along the coastline here.
Mission accomplished.
Then we're moving a bit of infantry to the rear. These ones pulled back. They are still quite low on supplies. I don't know how low exactly, though. What we do know is that it is low. I'm going to have the infantry search for any crossing points that they might have in here. Before I commit my tanks all the way. We're moving the flak guns in here. These definitely need to get a bit of reinforcements. This one, for some reason, it just isn't getting the reinforcements. No, I'm just going to get direct replacement troops in here. Get one of these sollies. There we go. So now it's got its reinforcement, so it doesn't need to complain. Over here, they've got a bit of infantry, but that is a bit low on... You know what? Yeah, if we send in the metalheads, we should be able to deal quite a bit of damage. There we go. Oh, we did lose a bit of metalheads ourselves. But we did destroy at least the guns. The infantry is still there. Is it, I think it was Metalhead 3s actually that were lost there. Bit of a shame. Or maybe it was 2, I don't know. Actually, I think it was Metalhead 2. Well, regardless, now we've got a Metalhead 3 in there, that should help a little bit further. So these ones are a bit low on readiness now. We could probably go ahead and do another airstrike with some of these units. Let's have a look. Air attack. The Ravens could strike there. Send the Wizards, and we'll send in another squad in there. No interceptors anywhere nearby. There we go. We got one of the bunker busters actually. With that, but yeah, we'll reduce the infantry a little bit in there. In size. Now the readiness is a bit further down. We could move in the artillery actually closer in here. We could perhaps even do an artillery strike there. I'm gonna use the regular artillery this time around. Well, we got one hit, but we didn't have a lot of action points remaining anyway, so that's no surprise. Do we have... Right, so these are the artillery units. Could potentially do air strike or artillery strikes there. What do we have in here? We've got a lot of headquarters. We do have some tanks, actually. Move those closer, and then we've got the various... so that's the flak guns. We can move these closer. That's more flak guns. I suppose we'll leave one of these flak guns to be the garrison for the future town in here. That'll probably help. And the barriers could probably move a little bit closer. They don't need to be too close necessarily, but it wouldn't hurt to have them slightly closer. Now that we are cutting off the supplies in here, actually, no, we can't move any further in here, but I'm going to try to cut off this infantry units in here. That might be quite helpful. And also, what we should do is continue the dirt road through here. Oh, nice. It goes through the oil field as well. So there's going to be a decent bit of resource that we could export in here, and that's for sure. But the cities are probably going to be fairly small that we have in here. Right, I suppose Celeste, now we've got at least some supplies going through there. How bad is it the... Oh yeah, they need a lot more workers there. So let's go ahead and send in another 300. I don't want to send too much at a time so that the logistics isn't too... well, swamped, let's just say. Are we still... oh, right. Let's go to the move mode. So now, I guess... is Kazuraptor doing fine with workers? They could have a bit more, I guess. We'll send another 300 there. So let's have a look at the regimes. Is Anconia territory? It does not exist anymore. There we go. So we have finally destroyed it. Let's have a look at the northern areas here. I know that there was something moving somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where that was. It wasn't there. But something like a... oh yeah, this one. Moving sort of behind us. There we go. Oh, it's a squirrels over there. Okay, I think we can destroy them. At least some of them. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good amount of kills there. Some nice experience for the troops as well. Ah, right, they did a landing. Okay. So one of the things is that's low mountains, so I might want to do a quick little road through here somewhere. Get the supplies a little bit closer. Then we've got the all-rounders in here. I'm just going to move it to the club and then return. We definitely need to get some more supplies in here. I suppose that's probably easiest to do through here. Get to the hot bar at least. That one, and then I guess the rovers can clear out some of this. Don't know anything about that unit there. But we're definitely clearing out a lot of land. This one was supposed to go further along here. I'm just going to move it manually right now to not use up the logistics too much. And speaking of logistics, I'm putting this one finally in. Oh, they're down to just a few tanks in here. Okay. They pulled back a lot of the artillery. I'm going to move in the infantry. No, I don't know if that infantry is actually going to be... is that... it's got machine guns here. Yeah, not necessarily the best. I could probably do a quick little range attack with the artillery first, though. Maybe we'll get a few hits to reduce the readiness or something. Well, no hits whatsoever. Could I try to use these two? I guess what I could do is I could do a quick little air attack with these first to destroy a few more tanks, maybe, before we attack ourselves. So at least get a lot of hits there, so they are going to be a lot lower readiness when we do attack. Oh, it's got action points and readiness for another attack. Alright, they've still got the artillery in here. This one's going to be a lot shorter attack there, though, but let's go ahead and take our tanks now. Let's try to push the enemy out. We've got a fairly good chance of pushing them out, I guess, but we didn't really destroy anything. I'm going to move the tanks closer anyway. I'm going to move the infantry a little bit in there. So we got the... right, this is the artillery group. I might move the flank guns a bit closer then, so that we can make sure to cover at least this sort of strong point there. They've got a bit of infantry in the open there. They've got the hold the line focus. They should have still some stuff in there. They might have moved that a long way recently. Over here they got the hold the line as well, so they got... how much do they get extra bonus? 50% on defense. Ah, right, that will explain. Well, the metalheads might be able to break this next round, though. And then we've got the flak guns in here, so slowly but surely we are breaking through here, maybe at least. Then in the middle, I mean, there's not a lot of resistance in there right now. I'm going to move the blitzers in there. Okay, so we know that they've got stuff there. I'm going to move it back. So I wanted to check what's in there. And then I guess we got the artillery in here, so let's just go ahead and drop that. Maybe we can get a hit or two. Most likely not a lot of kills. Maybe a few more of the trucks, I guess. Ah, there we go. That's a truck that got destroyed, and the tank got hit. But that's about it. Well, one of the tanks got hit, let's just say. So the readiness is pretty high on both of those still, so I'm not going to push any further than that, I don't think. We do have the Cobras, of course, that we could do a bit of... No, actually, they don't have the range right now. Never mind. Then, in the south, they are down to some motorcycles on the road. Now, middle is mountains, so it's not actually too rough for them. It's a lot rougher on us, actually. Clear out this, and I guess we'll bring in a bit more troops here to guard that. And we can bring the flat guns closer, so if they do have planes in here, which doesn't really seem like they do have a lot, then we can at least hold them back. We've got the militia over here that could probably just go ahead and start defending Zhatelier for the time. Oh, right, this one's supposed to be going strategic movement in there. How much is that? It's going to take a lot of the logistics available. But it can at least defend that, and then we can start sending this one up northeast to the eastern front. So the flat guns in here. We also got the man-padders over there. Which I suppose, actually, I could upgrade these now. If we got the logistics available. Yeah, I suppose we do. There we go. That's going to be a bit more effective, hopefully. And I guess at this stage, let's go ahead and use the tanks, as well as probably at least that infantry. And start clearing out these motorcycles in here.
Mission completed.
Well, we pushed them back. We didn't really destroy any of their troops. Some push in the... Oh, right, the man-padders can't move this around. We can move the flat guns closer, at least. And then they got a bit of tanks on the mountains in here, but at least we are pushing them back further and further. If we could capture this area, that'd be nice. And then start cutting off the supply lines through here, so that will cause them more issues. At least in theory. In practice, it might not be that much of an impact. So we did do the eastern front already, didn't we? More or less. I mean, there's a bit of infantry there we could still move. And a few tanks, but I'm going to let the tanks sort of rest for now. I will move them to the crossroad there, but not much further than that right now. We got the logistics being built. I mean, did we start building anything in? Oh, right, yeah, we're building the truck station in rear. I suppose another thing that I could do is start building a... Oh, right, because it's not a city, we can't build a hydroponics food factory yet. I mean, I suppose one of the things that we could do is build another agricultural facility in there. Or a solar panel field. So they'd have at least the energy from the get-go. And a rail... Well, actually, yeah, we'll build a rail station there, that's for sure. Because that is going to require a lot of rails to be built down that way anyway. So let's go ahead and get that rail built up in there. It's not too expensive, actually, to build through all of that. We'd maybe have a... Well, there's a supply base there. Was that that's a truck station? We're going to build a railhead in here then. So the truck station can pick up stuff from directly at the railhead and then move it forward rather than go back to a railhead or something and then move it somewhere. So that'll hopefully help. We might want to build a supply base in here. Assist a little bit with the movement of goods and resources and all that. Right, we do have quite a bit of infantry. We could try pushing back the grenadiers now. I suspect that they're going to have a bit of supply problems. Because they, well, I mean, they might try to build a new road, I guess, but that's about it. So we did already have a look at the most of the western fronts. Did we have a look at the... Well, I suppose we did win that battle out here in the north, didn't we? We got the metalheads in there. We're not quite ready to start pushing out the infantry out of there yet. We did have the battles here in the north. At least we moved the troops. So yeah, I think we are ready to go to the next round then. Airstrike again. But we're definitely getting ground both east and west now. Not necessarily so much in the west quite yet, but that will probably change soon enough. No, they do have a bit of troops in the southeast now. So yeah, must be some sort of opening there, so that's where a lot of the troops are coming. So we might want to send in some tanks down that way to make sure that the enemy doesn't stack up troops too much in there. No losses, no kills, and we discover another fuel deposit. Alright, the contract is expiring. I think right now we don't actually need to replenish the contract quite yet. Like, Unsung is mostly self-sufficient at this point. They got their own production of things, so if we need machinery, we do have still a little bit of air bridge that we can transport some stuff over. Not massive amounts, mind you, but a little bit. Incident concerning safety regulations. Right. We could reverse the leader's decision. Who is this one? Oh, right, it's the Air Force researcher. Yeah, no, that's fine. Not going to change the budget, I don't think.
Yes, sir.
Minor workers rank a zoo. I'm going to use the military. There's 400 militant workers that got killed. And then Hidden Village, we're going to do the same. There's 500 militant workers that got killed. Alien nations entered Albertus with some of our officials. Nations, also known as Mapatusian, that's a tongue twister, are asking us to take knowledge. They'd like to have part of equipment and machinery in the form of rifles, computers, books, or, for example, engines. Yeah, we'll give them some tech to keep them happy. We might be able to annex them soon enough anyway. It commune caught one of our spies. We'll smooth things over. Relations will go up. Can we actually see... No, it's just so many various leaders that relations go up with. I think it was 65 or something that we had before, so how much do we have now? 75? Ooh. Or maybe 68, but regardless, it did go up a decent bit. Some people might stop blackmailing us, who knows. So in the eastern front, we could probably just keep the spearhead going along the coastline. Oh, that's a nice hit there. There we go, so we destroyed one unit completely, and the other one is in pretty bad shape. Guess we need to use both of these. I mean, we don't have to, but it's probably best to use both of them. Can we move in? Well, we can move in a little bit of stuff at least. In here, that can actually move all the way. The metal heads could probably break down the enemy units there, finally. There's a little bit of troops in here, but I suppose now at least we're dealing enough sort of problems for the logistics. We can see that there's a bit of troops in here. Starting to move in, so we'll start moving some tanks to the southern front. Logistics are going to be a little bit hairy in there, so I don't actually want to move too many quite yet. And I suppose similarly, the rocket artillery could move maybe a little bit further east, but not necessarily too much. We've got a lot of headquarters in here. I suppose this was the armored headquarters. I'm going to move this one a little bit closer. The infantry could probably utilize a little bit more in here. I suppose we're going to move this one a bit south. And then we've got one more over here that could move it in kind of the central location there. So, we did manage to clear out a decent chunk of land over here on the coast. That's going to cause a bit of logistical issues in the short run, but in the long run it should be fine. So they've got a bit of troop in the south. We've got some tanks over here. It's just stocking up. I mean, suppose the supply base isn't quite completed yet. We got the truck station built at Rio finally. We started the railway station. So the logistics are going to be probably a little bit easier from now on. What do we have? Right, we've got the wizards over here. I'm going to move these closer now. They've got a massive range, admittedly, but it probably wouldn't hurt to move them closer. And I guess this one could move towards the new town. I believe that was the plan anyway with that one. And then, if we go to Celeste, we've got the militia over here, I guess. Right, this one can move northeast. Keep this one guarding a bit of stuff in here. If there is, like, this one tries to land or something, we're going to at least keep them at bay. We've got the Hueys in place. We could probably try to do a quick little air attack. Question is, of course, which side. Maybe we'll try to break these ones. I only got armor in there, so... Dealing okay damage. Well, oh, there we go. We did destroy 20 tanks. We got a decent bit of hits, at least. And if we started reducing the enemy strength in here, that's going to be brilliant. We could move in the flak guns a little bit closer, so they can also help at defending if need be. But they won't be pushing us through there anytime soon, I reckon. Then over here we got... I suppose we could move in the flak... No, I'm going to move the man-powders forward. I'll defend a little bit in there, and the flak guns can stay behind. They've got something in here, probably tanks. They've got a lot more tanks in here. These are medium tanks, actually. I could probably do a range attack in there. Don't know if we'll get any hits, mind you. Well, maybe some of the tanks, or the trucks rather, not the tanks. At least there's a decent bit of hits there. So are these... These are mostly the AG3s. Actually, they are all AG3s at this stage. If we wanted to move in some infantry in here, we could probably start doing that. Cut off the road. And we'll bring in the blitzers as well to assist us with some of that. We could move the barriers maybe a little bit more central. Although right now it's a fairly good location, but if we were to move it over here, that would still be within reach of that one. So the Cobras in here, do we have the... Oh, we do have the range to do... No, I'm not going to move that one though. That one's in the north. If we can get a few hits over here, maybe destroy a few things. That'd be brilliant. There we go, there's another 10 tanks destroyed. They can taste their own medicine now. And they got a bit of tanks over here. They got the hold the line on both of those, so that's not going to be too bad for us. I'm going to move in the artillery up north. And let's go ahead and do a quick little range attack on the infantry here first. Oh, they're right, they did have artillery of their own as well. Well, they got more hits than we did, but neither side lost anything. But now we'll use the air attack on this one. I'm just hoping that we can deal damage on the artillery. Destroy the artillery. No hits whatsoever. Okay, well that's a bit unfortunate. I'm going to move in the metalhead to try to break the enemy first. If nothing else, we should get quite a few hits in there. We might lose something. Yeah, no, we got 3 hits. We didn't push them back up, but how is the readiness? I mean, it's still pretty decent. They got fairly good morale and all that. So we might have to wait a few more rounds before we can push them out entirely. We've got quite a bit of stuff in there. I could potentially move this one either here. Alright, so that's more infantry. Good to know. To the north, I mean, they've still got supplies, so I don't think we're going to be breaking through there anytime soon. Then, I guess it might be time to start clearing out a little bit more of the no man's land over here in the west. Moving the recon in there, so that's salamanders over there. That's not too bad of an enemy, admittedly. This militia could probably go to the hot club at least. Ooh, right, the hot pool is almost ours as well. Did we? Right, we did move the headquarters in there already with the auto transfer. Ah, this one's missing a bit of units. Huh. How did that happen? Well, regardless, that's now sorted. And then in the northeast, I mean, we've got the bikers and all that. We could probably try to attack in there, but again, we don't really need to worry about that right now. They got quite a bit of infantry in here. Their readiness isn't too high. Our readiness is actually fairly good still. If we were to do another range attack, should be mostly fine.
Yes, sir.
There we go. One of the things that I do wonder though, so we got... I might want to get a little bit of flak guns, but I suppose I'm just thinking like, if I was to get one of those automated garrison brigades, let's see, can we actually do those? Automated garrison brigades, so one of these, I mean, technically speaking, that could also work. It's a bit expensive though. So yeah, no, the automated guns are probably going to be off the limits for now. But if I was to get some of those in here, with the flak guns especially, then that would reduce the effectiveness of the enemy planes. Mainly by the fact that we'd be shooting them down. Right, so how is Celeste doing in terms of workers now? It's still missing a little bit. Send another 200 in there. And I think we might send another 200 into Kazoo just to make sure that it can do all the construction work. Or rather, all the rest of them to Kazoo, rather. So we've got a decent bit of recruits now, so that's good. We could do a bit more fighting in here, actually. Try to break down the enemy troops in the mountains. Of course, we could just wait the supply issues to catch up with them a bit further before we do that. I think this might be some motorized units or something that they're sending in. Oh, there we go, there's some oil and some fuel. Or they are road, not fuel. There's a bit of infantry. Oh, they got field training. Oh! Field training? And how much was that? That's minus 40% defense. The infantry's got to have field day in here. There we go, we destroyed 200, we didn't... Well, we did actually lose 100 RPGs and all that, but not too bad. And now, since one of those has at least retreated, we could do the artillery strike over here with the rocket organs. Actually, we could use the regular guns as well. Well, no kills, quite a few hits though, so I guess they are going to be very much reduced in readiness. In which case, we could probably just utilize the metalheads now. All the tanks that we have available in here and just destroy them. Oh, a lot of them panicked. We did lose a little bit of metalheads though. Didn't lose any of our specialists though. Luckily, but yeah, there's a decent bit of losses for the enemy. Most of that, well, there's 4 specialists that they lost, and 4 units. Might be fair enough, I suppose. Regardless, we did push them back at least. There is that. I'm just going to go ahead and get our replacement troops in here already. With the metalhead 3. And I suppose we do need a bit more replacement for the infantry. I'm just going to go through the replacement. So it's a bit more RPGs. That's really about it. But I see that we are actually out of time for this episode again, so if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.